I put chapstick on,
I
and
just did too.
forgot that it was, yeah, but mine's tinted
Oh,
and I like forgot about it. Like I literally just grabbed chapstick and put it on. And thank God I know how to put chapstick on because otherwise it would have been like
all over the place.
bad. Yeah. Um, but I put the camera on like right before you got on and I went, "Oh my God, it was
And you didn't
so
realize?
no, it was so dark. It was darker than this." And so I was like, "Oh God, I have to like wipe that
Mhm.
off." And so I did. I feel like it looks fine now.
It would have been fine.
Um, but in
That's
my head
crazy
I'm
for a
like,
chapstick. Look at them go.
it's dark. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
It's
you had like an actual like a
no,
lip gloss or some.
it's chapstick.
I love that.
I'll bring it to the game later
Good.
and I'll show you.
Okay.
It's so dark.
Like some proof. You want to know? That's crazy, actually. I
I
never. If
mean,
you didn't say that, I never would have guessed it. I would have asked you what you were
tis
wearing,
tis
and
lip
you'd be like,
balm.
"This is chapstick."
Yeah.
Iconic.
So, hi Bree, how are you?
Hi everyone, I made it back alive. Um, Still running around like I have no nothing going like running around too much probably, but I'm happy to be back.
Good. We're happy to
Um,
have you
a
back. I
little
missed
bit. I do
you.
miss it already, but in a different sense of like New Jersey is New Jersey. And once you go somewhere else, it doesn't it's like, eh,
Do
cool,
people
whatever.
miss New Jersey when they leave? Or do they just miss like their friends
I
and
don't
family?
know. That's a good question. Now I'm gonna ask people. I'm like, do you actually miss? I made a joke because when I landed, it was a very, again, very long travel coming back and going. But when I landed, I made a joke to I think my mom. I was like, I have never been so grateful to see Newark, New Jersey in my entire life because I was like, I just can't. I'm getting off a plane. I'm home, whatever. But yeah, I made it. I lived through a cyclone and
A
more rain than I ever
hurricane.
thought during a race that had me literally shivering. But all well worth it. All well worth it. Yeah, I'm back and already back in the swing of hockey things. So I clearly did not miss a beat, thankfully. But we're here.
Well, you're also
We're here.
psychotic and you decided to go to work the day after you got back from
Well,
Australia with a
yes,
14-hour time difference.
I did. I did do it,
So
but it
that's
was
on
late.
you.
It was late.
I
I
know.
did not show up at 8 a.m. because if it was 8 a.m., there was no way I was doing that. It was a
Yeah.
late show, so it was fine. But yeah. Also, if I didn't, I feel like if I waited longer, like before I got back and when I got back to work,
Yeah, I get
it would have
it.
been worse. So I was just like, no, just throw me back into it. And that's exactly what happened. So, but yeah, I went. I had a great time. I loved it. And now I'm back for the foreseeable future. I don't see myself leaving the country anytime soon.
Yeah.
But you never know, I guess. But
We
for
might go
right
to
now,
Canada.
yeah. That's on the same continent though.
Yeah, but you said country.
Oh yeah, I guess. I feel like people though, and people ask me, they're like, "Is this your first trip like international?" And I was like, "Well, I've been to Canada, but like I don't know if people count that because it's like right there. Like I count
Yeah.
it, but I feel like when people talk about like going to different countries, I feel like people would not count that. But also that's silly because I feel like Europe, because you can go to all these countries in Europe so easily, I feel like they count that. So whatever. Anyway, I've been to two now. One of them's Canada, and one of them was Australia. Literally the most totally
Yeah.
different,
For
like
opposites.
easiest probably one to get to and the hardest one to get to. But I did it.
I
I got
am
Ken's koala, who is not
you
on display right
did.
now, but he was really cute.
I can go get him. Do you want
No,
me to go
don't.
get him? Okay, fine.
He just exists. He's
He'll be
cute.
in the next episode.
He'll just gonna sit on the shelf behind you. Be like, hey.
I'll put him with Oswald. I'm so tired. Like you'd think I'm the one who's it's gloomy.
I was
I
gonna say the fact that it's like raining and gray outside today is the worst.
I think also like just for context, I have not been in New York State. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. 7 out of
Oh,
the
I was like,
last like
where are you
10
going with
days.
this? See,
13.
when you say New York State, I'm thinking like New York State, like above me, New York State,
Okay, so like
not Long
I
Island,
have
but I know
not
what you
been
mean.
in New York for like 7 out of the last 13 days,
Where you
which
live,
is where I live. Yeah, no,
where I
I've
live.
I've been in Jersey and Boston a lot more than I. Listen, Boston's great. I literally haven't like
Jersey, on the other hand, I'm kidding.
no, it's fine. I
You're also
haven't been
only in like,
home
yeah, just chill
and
out.
like I've been driving my poor car.
That's why it
I
needs an oil change
no, literally like a
because
week
you put so
ago,
many
I went,
miles
all
on
right, I have
it.
2,000 miles left until I have to get an oil change. And
That,
now I have to
yeah,
get like I'm already done.
that checks out. That's exactly why. But it makes
Yeah.
sense. We love it.
And then it's gloomy and I have to go to work again later, which like yeah, it's Monday, you have to go to work. But
Excuse me. You're gonna see me though.
yeah.
Yay!
It's a big playoff game for both teams. Because like the Canucks obviously need
Oh,
it.
guys, we're talking about the Hughes Bowl. I don't
Oh,
know when you're listening to
also,
this.
hi, welcome
That'll be
back
it.
to Read Between the Blue Lines. I'm Mackenzie, that's Bree. We're tired
Yes,
and
we're back.
we haven't
We're
recorded in
back,
like
but
a
we're
month.
tired.
So
We're a little
okay.
uncoordinated. We're just kind of all over. That's
Yeah,
how our brains are right now, but yeah.
I'm pulling up the NHL standings. So yeah, the Hughes Bowl in Jersey
Oh,
is tonight. Um the Devils are currently sitting in
second,
third
third. You're right. I'm
third in
already
the
in my
Met
brain.
with 80 points.
They're 10 points behind the Canes for second. That's what my brain was going with.
And they're 6 points ahead of the Rangers, with the same number of games played. So like, and then Islanders and Blue Jackets have 2 games in hand on them, but they play each other tonight, so that'll be a 4 point swing either way.
Mm,
Um, or if they win in regulation. But yeah, the Devils aren't exactly sitting pretty right now, like especially if the Rangers decide to go on a run.
I wouldn't really.
I wouldn't say
I'm
that
not
they
gonna
would,
say that,
but I'm just saying they could.
but yeah, like you should be a little nervous, I would say, especially with I feel like so many teams like really not really close, but close enough that it could change. Like the Canes have too much of a lead for the Devils to even try and catch up on them. So it
No,
makes it
but
like you have to kind of solidify your
we have we're gonna end up having like 5 Atlantic teams and only 3 Met teams
yeah.
end up which is
Well, because the
crazy.
Metro, as much as I love them, they're bad.
They suck this
Out of
season.
every like division, I feel like it used to be the Central because it used to be like no, maybe the Pacific would still be in there. There's always one that's like super lopsided where you have your contenders or your really good playoff teams and then like your really bad teams. And the Metro this year is just like 75% bad teams
But you have
or teams that have
Ottawa.
not played well. Like
No, but you have Ottawa and Montreal in playoff
the Atlantic,
spots,
yeah.
which they haven't been in playoffs in years. And like, are we counting the bubble for Montreal?
Yeah, it does
Like,
count. I
it
do unfortunately
counts.
have to count it. They
It
made the Stanley Cup final, Kens. You cannot not count that. I know
in
I
a
know
bubble
it's a
though.
bubble year, but like it does still count.
But in a standard playoff,
In an
they
82 game,
yeah, in an 82
yes, it's been a
game
while.
season, but the bubble, by the way, is like when
When
they
they
did COVID and
yeah,
they like
the
changed the
shortened
playoff format.
season, the
Yeah.
56 game season.
Um,
What a time.
in a regular season, Ottawa and Montreal have been we're not even getting close. Um,
Ottawa's on 8,
like has
7 or
Brady
8?
Kachuk ever been in a playoff series? Okay. So yeah, it's
No.
been a while. Um, and so you
And
have
I
both
can't
of those teams in, which is I think it's great for the sport though to see more Canadian teams
yeah.
end up in the cup final or like the
I
cup
also
playoffs.
think
But
I also think it's gonna sound so I don't know what the word is, but I sometimes get sick of seeing the same teams in the playoffs every single year. And like I know again,
I've
you're
been
not gonna say like
saying I'm tired of it. But at the same time, there are teams where
I
I'm like,
know.
what do you mean you're not going to make the
So
playoffs?
this is the difference of like I want to see different teams because I'm like I've seen you enough. Take a year off, whatever. Not actually because you
Yeah,
can't,
but when
whatever.
I
But
say that, I
at the
mean
same
like
time,
the Islanders, the
yes.
Hurricanes.
So
I don't
this
mean
is
the
my
teams that
point.
I root for, which I do root for the
My point
Islanders.
is
I
like
just
I would love it to be different, but at the same time, those teams that get in, like I don't want to say Montreal, but like Montreal, the Blues, probably the Isles, they're gonna get in, and you maybe get like if the first round, if not. So it's like it's it's kind of
I
like the
will
Caps last year.
say,
Like you got the Caps in and they got swept. It's like that, but
okay,
like at least they made it. It's different.
but
I guess.
but
Yes.
I I don't know if they could do it. But I have this delusion that if Montreal gets in the
Oh.
playoffs, like I've seen what that team is capable of.
Oh yeah.
Between like Suzuki, Slavkovsky, Caulfield,
Who would they get?
Hudson,
And
Montembeau, they would
there's
get the Caps at this point in the
oh
first
yeah, that's
round.
right. Because they're top.
Um,
Oh. See, that's a little scary.
it's
Like
scary,
I'm on the
but
Canadiens. It's scary.
God, that would, but like, I
That'd be a
don't
good series though.
like, again, we haven't seen any of this Habs roster in a playoff. And so, like, I would
Yeah.
love to see if they
Well,
could
okay.
kick it into like a second gear. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
our
Yeah, yeah. The
real
official.
playoffs,
Yeah.
like the whole thing. I would love to see it. Also, so then, like, this is an important game for the Devils. Like, they do need to win it if they want to keep the Rangers at bay, if the Rangers go on a run. And like, the
Who are they
Islanders
playing
have
next?
points in their last five.
This is what the Isles do every single year.
I
They
know.
suck for a
I
majority of
know.
it, and then the last, not even month, well, maybe the last month, they're just like, I know how to play hockey, and then they get into the playoffs and they lose in the first round. Although they won't play the Canes this year, but it happens every time, every time.
I will say, as long as like if the Islanders get into the playoffs and I'm not allowed to go if they play the Canes, because the last
They
two
can't.
times
There's no way they would play the Canes
I'm just saying,
if
like
something
if it's like a
magically
second
happens.
round or something, I'm not allowed to go because I went the last 2 years and they
They lost.
lost so badly at each game I went to, and everyone's like, "This is your
Yeah.
fault." I'm like, "Okay, I got
Okay,
it."
it definitely is not, but like they need
Um,
to not play them. Although it's kind of impossible,
but
but
like
you
the
never know.
Devils, because the Devils have 71 games played, the Islanders have 69, and the Islanders are only 7 points behind.
That's wild.
Um, and like so I like the Devils in my book right now, like they hold their season in their hands and like it's their spot to lose.
Yeah.
Because none of the teams below them are really giving you like a scare. But if you go
Yeah,
on a
it's not
complete
serious.
slide, it's not going to go well. And then
Yeah.
Vancouver isn't even in a playoff spot as of this morning.
No, they're like 2 points out.
No,
2 points?
they're 5 points
No, five
out.
points. That's right, because the Blues have won six in a row. And when you win six in a row, you kind of solidify your
Yeah.
playoff spot. The Flames were flip-flopping with them for a while.
I can't believe Minnesota and the St. Louis,
I
like
know.
looking at the West right now, I'm like, what happened here? Because
Wait,
you went from having, not that Vancouver's having a great season, but like that's still a team I don't want to see in the playoffs.
I agree.
I don't want to see Quinn Hughes in the playoffs. I'd be terrified of that man.
Yeah.
Um, but like if you're looking at it now, you're getting Winnipeg is playing St. Louis Blues. Like, come on. And then
Yeah.
Vegas is playing Minnesota. Like, okay.
That one is
You went from having a really hard like first round, I feel like,
to
for
be to
the
yeah.
West. It's like I feel like the West first round now is pretty easy unless you're Dallas and Colorado.
Well, that's why like I was doing something the other day at work and we were talking about well, obviously when the Caps clinched the playoff spot. And I think it's the funniest thing if you look at like the top teams in the NHL, the first like six is like the Caps and the entire Central Division.
Yeah.
And it's like if you need proof that like the East is not up to par, that is your proof. But yes, I think also because you have your every team has solidified their individual spot in their
I
division.
I will
The wild
say
card is like,
currently right now where we stand, it's Washington, Winnipeg, Dallas, Golden Knights, Carolina, Colorado,
oh,
Florida.
all right,
So we
Golden
do
Knights. I'm
have two
sorry,
other Eastern teams in the no,
but
okay. We
like
have four total, including the Caps in the top 10 in the league right now.
yeah.
Which like
It's not how I like. I feel like it used to be the other way around, where we used to always it used to be
no East like
the East, and then
we
there's
didn't
a couple
have
wild like West teams in there.
we didn't have this platform. We didn't even talk at this point last year actually. We hadn't met yet, which is
Oh my God, yeah, we haven't even like partially
crazy to
met
think
yet.
about.
That's actually crazy.
We didn't
What?
know each other. We didn't
Oh
know
my
the
God.
existence. Yeah. I
We
like
definitely
forget
had so
sometimes.
many like invisible string moments, though. I guarantee it. Like we just like didn't even know
No, we
we
were
were
at
in the
hockey
same.
games at the same time.
That's what I
Like
mean. And we just had no
I
idea.
did not realize, like, I had this moment the other day where I was like, we've only been friends for a few months.
And look at us. Look at us.
Well, just I think that we just clicked really well, and I think that that's like a
Yeah.
testament to like us and our friendship, which is nice. But like,
True.
oh
Crazy when
God,
you
I
think
feel like I've
about
known
it.
you my whole life. And
It feels like
it's
that.
been since July.
Yeah, July. Like mid-July.
I'm like, what did I meet you
Early
like a
July?
few weeks before the
Mid-July?
bar exam?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And like
you
the
met me
conference was
during,
in April, which we like kind of met at, but it doesn't
but
really count.
we like hung out for the first time
At a
during
Mets
one of
game.
the most stressful
Yeah.
times of my life, and you
Dude, I was
decided
like
to
the
stay. So good
that
for
was one of
you.
the first things you told me, and I was like, "Oh, that's so cool." But yes.
Uh,
Anyway.
okay, so at this point last year, I was like, once we got to playoffs last year, I was saying to one of my friends, I was like, listen, the East is going to take it. I don't care who comes out of it. As long as it's not the Islanders, the East is taking the cup this year.
Mm,
And I said it pretty early because the West just wasn't looking that strong. My issue this year is the West, like, if you listen to other hockey media people, they're calling the West a gauntlet this year because
I
they're
wouldn't go
saying,
that far.
but they're saying once you get past that first round, that second round and that conference final are going to kill
Oh
whoever
yeah.
comes. Like, you are going to have to, it's a dogfight to get through that. Like, so if you, like, okay, Dallas and Colorado trying to get past that first round
Hmm.
is gonna be ugly.
Yeah.
Um, that's gonna be good hockey to watch, but I would not want to be one of those teams then going into the second round because you're gonna
Yeah. It's not like you have like you're not facing a team the second round that you're just like, oh, okay, like easy. It's gonna
no,
be
because it's
a
like
easier series. It's not.
you're
You're
gonna
getting.
go Dallas, Colorado, and then play Winnipeg.
Hmm. I wouldn't even like I. The Oilers are kind of. I feel like they've been a little irrelevant this season, but I still wouldn't like. They're still scary in the playoffs. I still wouldn't want to play them.
No, but if you had to take the Kings or the Oilers, who would you take this
The
season?
Oilers.
Still with their goaltending?
Yes. Yeah. I
Also,
feel. I don't
mind
know.
you, Draisaitl and McDavid are hurt right now.
Yeah. Right
And
now.
but what if they
I don't
get hurt
know. I
again?
actually though I would kind of love like for the arc of the story of it for the Kings to finally be like, we did it. But I also
They're tied right now.
this is one of those things,
The only reason the Knights, the not the Knights, the Kings are above them is because they have a higher
regulation.
percentage.
Yeah.
No, they have less games played.
That's true. I think it'd be funny just to kind of for them to
And yes,
finally win
regulation,
against
but
them, but I don't know. I like somebody asked me the other day, like, who do you think wins the cup? And I'm like, could you not ask me that? Because I genuinely don't have a feel. Like usually there's like a feel by now, and there's not a feel. I'm not getting it. I don't know.
I will also
So
say
we'll see.
Winnipeg has been like it's upsetting. If you're a Jets fan, I'm so sorry because
To
you went from having such a strong start to your season. They were killing it.
be like
They looked
average.
great to being like, yeah, this like if they didn't have such a strong start to the season, they would be struggling to like
Yeah.
look at like third right now.
Hmm.
It's
That's what I mean. I like
we have
can't
like
pick
10 to
anyone.
13 games left though. I'm like
I hate that. I
I
literally
didn't
real
realize
so
how like when you texted me the other day and you went, we have a clinching
yes,
scenario,
I
and I
can't.
went, Okay, context. I don't check
This is
my
also like
phone,
caps, so like
but yeah,
expected, I guess, for like
I'm
them being the farthest one up.
yeah, I'm at work. I'm like not supposed to be on my phone really. Um, but I have my watch on because I need to keep updated with the scores
You're
of
just
the other
being like,
teams I follow when I'm at my hockey
guess what
game.
happened?
And so yeah, you texted me and you're like, there's a clinching scenario. And I went, excuse me?
Hello? Yeah, that's how I felt looking at it.
I'm
So I was
like,
like, what do you mean?
because in
It's the end of March,
like
which is usual, but
I feel like January and February just took so long
I agree.
that now I'm like, oh, what happened to March? Also, like, just FYI, guys, I quit my job. And so I've been off the
Time
last
is
few
fake.
weeks. Yeah. And I'm like, what's going
I also like the other last night we had to build somebody's a schedule for a team, and I went to go look at. We have like a website that lists them all out, and I went to go look it up, and I could see the end of the list of the regular season games, and I'm like, what? Where did it? What? Why can I see the end? Why is that there?
Yeah, I
So
was
I'm like,
scheduling my writing stuff and I was like, where
it's
am I getting
unnerving.
really close? And it doesn't look
Yeah,
like any of the teams that I cover are gonna be in the playoffs. I
it's
was like, oh, I gotta start
fine.
writing prospect pieces, which is
Yeah, those are fun.
fun, but like
I
more
know
research is
it's just
involved.
a very odd season. And now that we're coming down to the playoffs, I'm like, what? Like I don't think there's going to be a clear favorite. I'm sure there
No,
is,
and
but
I said this when we started the podcast. I think that in December you were looking at Winnipeg and Jersey being really
mhm,
strong contenders to go to the final. And as of late, I could not tell you because
no.
like
The only one I feel like would like I wouldn't doubt would be the Stars because they're terrifying.
the
But
Stars are great. If Otter stays healthy, that's going to be a
yeah,
really big.
it's
And
just like
we were talking, not
on
we,
paper.
I was talking about this with one of my friends the other day about like Toronto.
Oh, I forgot about Toronto.
Toronto's in a
Sorry,
great place.
Toronto. They are, I
Um,
know.
but if Joseph Wall gets injured again,
Stop saying it. You're gonna like jinx it, and these people are gonna come for us. So we said it. Don't say it out loud.
listen, he got injured in game 6 last year and
Yeah, that was actually that's not very good
no, and
at
Stolars
all.
is great,
Yeah,
not great enough.
but I don't know if you can
Um,
ride a whole playoff series.
yeah.
Yeah, on one. Yeah,
And that's okay,
I
but that's
don't know.
this is also where I get really mad at like the Rangers.
An everyday
Shesterkin should have
experience.
no, but that back to back where Shesterkin didn't play that second game and like he should
Oh
have.
yeah.
And I understand that Jonathan Quick is like I love Quick. He's great. I'm so happy to have him as a Rangers fan. Shesterkin should have played that back to back. And I
Mm,
think that yes, like protect your players, but when you are trying to make a playoff push, why are we
what? Yeah,
taking out a goalie who just FYI by the way, he's not making 11.5 yet. So don't
he
come at me
signed
with
for
that.
it
He signed for
next
it.
year.
And next season, say it all you want. He's not currently making
True.
it, so shut up.
It is
Um
valid.
just
True
prefacing
statement.
it. Also, he's a great goaltender. And when you look at all the stats considered and like high danger chances versus like own goals
Yeah.
and da da, like I can go into it and I would. But I don't want to spend 70 minutes talking about the Rangers. Um, if you're curious, go look at my Twitter because I went into it. Um, I just
Yeah.
the
All I'm
goalie
saying,
situation I think
it'll
is
be interesting.
gonna be the the playoff push is so I just don't know. I don't know.
I kind of love it though. It's like my favorite part of the year because I get to like sit there and be like, if this team wins and that team doesn't win, and the points that flip, and this person and that whatever, and it's just like it's chaotic, but it's fun because like this year alone, there aren't any. It isn't solidified at all, and
No,
so like the
I
amount of
also
things that
feel
change are
like
crazy.
we I don't correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like we had more teams in the playoffs at this point last year.
I can tell you,
Like
like they had
clinched.
clinched their spot.
Yeah.
Let's see. On you want me to do the actual day? We'll do March 23rd, actually.
Yeah. Like close enough.
Why is there nobody listed? Maybe not.
No.
There's no way. No, nobody has it. Although at this time, at this time last year, on the oh sorry, today's the 24th. I don't know what day it is. It doesn't matter. This time last year, the Canucks and Rangers were tied for the best team in the league.
Yeah.
I once again, I
Mm,
hate that
the missed
just for the fact of
opportunity,
what happened from then to now.
the
Like what
missed
in the world?
opportunity last year for a Rangers Canucks final.
I know. I was kind of hoping. Okay, so the Rangers clinched the playoffs on March 26th last
Oh,
year. So they were the first team.
I
I'll
was
give you
there.
100
I don't
points.
know why I'm like I was literally in the building.
But then on March 28th, we had the Stars, Canes, Bruins, and Panthers with a spot. So,
Okay, so
yes,
like it went quicker, I
it
feel
was
like from
quicker.
first to like next because
Yeah.
the poor Jets, they had a clinching scenario the last like 3 days
2 days in a row.
and didn't do it.
Last night's was my
No, I think
favorite when all you had to do was get a point
I
against the
know.
Sabres. Well, so the first day they didn't have to do anything.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
They
But they were idle.
they were like waiting. They had to have a certain team lose, certain team whatever.
Well, yeah,
Yesterday they had to get a
They needed the Rangers
yeah,
to
and
win. And so we all were like, okay,
Yeah,
that's gonna suck. And then I think they needed
it
St.
was St.
Louis.
Louis, who again is on a crazy run right now.
And then yeah. So you would think that it would have been the opposite of, oh my
Easy.
God. I
Yeah,
felt
and then last night they needed the
a point
a
against the
point against the Sabres and
Sabres.
somebody to lose. Oh, the Blues again. Blues did not lose, and they lost to the Sabres 5-3. So they still do not have a playoff spot, at least like confirmed yet, which is crazy to me. But yeah, actually, let's see
I
if
also
there's one
do
in for
think it's
tonight.
so interesting that like we can be this late in the season and you can have had such a dominant season that like overall as a whole, Winnipeg has had a good season. There's no denying that. Have they had blips? Yes, but overall they've been a really good team. The
Hmm.
funniest thing to me is that they could still miss the playoffs.
Yeah, mathematically, it is possible.
Like
Could you imagine that?
that's insane to me.
If that happened, that's crazy.
I would if
Hockey.
I was on that team, I would not exist anymore.
No, that would be like the
I would
most
jump off a cliff.
insane. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't even know what I would do. I would hate that. No, no. Anyway, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, sure.
Although I might hate it a little bit, but I love it at the same time. Maybe.
It's like
I
that
think I'm only gonna
that
have
song. What's that song? Who's
I'm
that
literally
by?
only gonna have the abs in the playoffs. Oh, now I really hate that.
The Rangers might make it. You never
I have
know.
no faith in I'm so sorry to everybody who's listening to this that's a Rangers fan. I don't even want to watch them play hockey anymore.
I don't.
I'm so sick of them. My mom yesterday fun fact guys, I met Nico Heischer yesterday.
Yeah.
But when I was going, my mom, who's like, of course, I'm not in a Devils household. We're Rangers fans, whatever. I'm like breaking code of conduct. But I went, and my mom was like, she said something about, she's like, oh my God, like, why is the Devils like, whatever, they're so bad. And I was like, actually, mom, they're not. Like, I'd prefer to watch them over the Rangers now because
Not the last two
I,
games. I've
no, not
been
those 2 games.
upset with
The
those
Flames game
players.
was actually insane.
I was
Like, watching that crumble in the third, I was like,
so
what is
mad.
happening?
I'm so
Don't wish that upon us tonight. I don't want that.
no, but I also don't know if I want to see the Devils win tonight because I kind of want the Canucks to make the playoffs, and so I'm having like a
Okay,
really
yeah,
hard
so that's
time
what I
because I want to
mean.
see the Devils win because then I make more money. But like,
Demko's supposed to be in,
I know.
which is either good or bad. All I care about is
No,
I
but
want the
that's
cookie to win tonight. I need to see it. I know. Actually, don't say that. Don't tell me you know. I
I
actually
don't.
don't want to know
I won't know.
because
I will not know the outcome of the Mrs.
guys, so we
Fields.
we have to cover this too. If
Okay, hold
you
on.
don't know this, can I give the background? There's a it's like an intermission like entertainment thing. There's not even intermission. It's like
It's
on
a
the ice.
TV timeout.
Yeah, TV
Yeah.
timeout. They have these desserts at the Prudential Center that you can buy, and they make the little cartoon versions of them run a race, like a
So
dessert race.
it's Twist, who's an ice cream cone,
Yeah,
Auntie Anne's pretzels, and then Mrs. Fields cookie, who,
cookie.
by the way,
I've
looks like a demon. If you
yes.
like,
Go look at the devil's profile picture right now.
she's horrifying.
I think it's
Just
funny,
by the way.
but I've been to like probably way too many Devils games this season, and the entire time I've been to one, I'm like, oh my God, this cookie has not won yet, and it has not won. And then when was it? I wasn't in Australia yet, was I?
No, you were.
I was. Yes, I
You were
was.
in Australia.
Anyway, the other two had won like 13
Yeah.
games or whatever, and they were like, and the poor cookie had not a single win, and I was invested. I was like, I need to know when this cookie wins a freaking race because how do you not let it anyway? Ken's texted me when I was in Australia, and the cookie won, and now I'd see it in my like with my own eyeballs because I've waited. I'm just too invested.
She won
I
the
need
other
to
night
see
if
it.
you had stayed for the game.
Sorry, I had work. So,
Just saying.
I didn't know that, but we'll see. If that happens, that's gonna be the win of the night
I will
for me.
probably find out. I mean,
Don't tell me.
I can ask to not. I don't have to find out.
You do
Um,
you.
okay, I don't know if
I'm
we've
gonna
ever
be sitting
covered
there
this.
so
So
excited to
just by
see
the
the
way,
dessert race.
Bree works for the NHL network. I
You said
work for
this
the
last time.
Devils. No, but I don't know that we've covered that I work for the Devils
Oh, maybe.
before.
I don't remember.
Um,
My brain's all over the place.
no, it is not like a super important job, but I do know things. And so like I the other day like found out like who was going to win the race beforehand, and I was like, I don't want to know.
No, I'm so excited for
But
that.
can I tell you? The pop of that crowd
I
when she
know.
won the other night was louder than any of the goals scored. And I'm like,
My favorite was, oh my God, who was it they asked? Paul Cotter, maybe?
all I
Someone
know is
asked him in
all
a
of the,
presser,
yeah.
and they're like, I forget what he said, and he was like, "Oh, it got really loud
Well,
at that one
Sheldon
thing."
Keefe even was like, she's carrying us through.
No, and then however they worded it, he was like, I don't know what was happening there, but it got really loud. And they're like, oh yeah, the Mrs. Fields cookie won the dessert race, and he was like, oh okay. I was like, dude. I was like,
Yeah.
and then I know someone who went to the game when they were playing the Flames, and the Flames players were watching it on the jumbotron. I was like, that's the most amusing thing ever. I love it,
Yeah.
but that's a high. I just need it to happen.
Yeah. So the Mrs. Fields cookie thing was huge. And like when I tell you that Devil's Twitter went off.
I just love it.
But then the funniest thing is, and I had said this because she won 2 games in a row and the Devils won 2 games in a row. And I was like, all right, do they keep going until like the Devils lose? Because as like a superstitious hockey fan, if
Yeah.
Game Prez made her lose and then the Devils lost, I think that there might have been a riot within the Prudential Center.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, okay, do you keep making her win until like the Devils lose or whatever, and then the Devils lost, and then she's won 4 in a row? And in case you're wondering, Mrs. Fields is the only person on the Devils to win 4 games in a row this season.
Only
um,
this little
which
cookie. Can I pull up hold on. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see. No, I'm not gonna do it because you're probably not gonna be able to see it. Just go look at the
no, hold
I know, but my phone I feel like is not gonna look the right
on. Okay, I'll pull it up.
way on the screen, you know?
Mrs.
Just look up it's the devil's profile picture, but
Fields
they have like the
Devils.
hat on it. It's like kind of nightmare fuel, but in like a funny way.
Just so you know, it literally comes up on Google as like the first result.
As it should.
Okay, this is
I
this
love
is the
that.
cookie. In case anyone was
Yeah.
confused,
That cookie's won 4 races, guys.
terrifying. She looks horrifying. I've
Okay,
never
but
like
all of them, okay, first off, all of them are not like the most adorable things ever. The ice cream cone's kind of cute. And I don't know if I like I don't know. The legs on the Auntie Anne's pretzels throw me off. But
they're it's nightmare fuel is the
not
right
us
way to put it.
analyzing the dessert the desserts in the devil's dessert race.
It's the
Anyway,
most entertaining part of
I have to film it now when I'm
being a
sitting
Devils
there later.
fan.
It's like, guys, look at the dessert race. I think every team, I wish every team had a version of that. Like their own little thing. But girl can dream.
Okay. Speaking of teams that shouldn't miss the playoffs, that are going to miss the playoffs, Michigan.
Oh,
So
yeah.
moving over to the NCAA tournament, which by the way, congratulations to Wisconsin, won the
Crazy
women's tournament.
game.
Such a great game.
Crazy. Yeah.
Sims with the penalty shot with 18 seconds left and the OT
And the
winner. I
overtime.
mean,
It was literally
retire
so
her
good.
number
Yeah.
because oof,
I like that's like one of those things I wish I like saw in person because I feel like there's nothing that can top that. It's so sick.
no, that looked
But
great.
yes,
I wish I was
congrats to
there.
them. I know. I To everybody who was there, I love that for you because that was I can't even imagine how crazy that was to see in person.
Yeah.
So good for
There
them.
there has been some discourse with her penalty shot, whether or not the puck moved backwards.
I've seen a lot
Um,
about how the play before her overtime goal was offsides. It was not offsides, but a lot of people on Twitter were like, "How are you not going to review this?" Blah, blah, blah. But anyway, it doesn't matter. They won, and she was a star. So
I'm
love
like
it for
looking at
them.
it again. Oh, looking at litter. Okay, you know how sad it
And
is to
what?
watch. No, because I don't know if you did you see the overtime?
Yeah,
Okay, the Ohio State players literally all just like fell to the ground.
yeah. Did you see the clip of their goalie? like she was sitting on her knees in the net and her like teammates came over and like gave her a hug because she was so upset. And I was like, again, stop showing me the sad teams when they lose. I know they lost. I don't want to see it. Show me the
Yeah.
happy celebration that's happening over there. I don't I feel for them. I don't want to see it. I'm so sorry. It's gonna make me sad.
Well, it's funny because the video that I'm watching currently, you you don't see the Ohio players for a second because someone's arm goes up and it completely blocks the camera. And so the Ohio players go from standing upright
To
to
just
just
be on the
laying
floor.
down on the floor.
They're like, oh, just,
I
it's
feel
like a
bad
time
for
skip.
Caleb Barnes currently,
Yeah.
who's obviously not on Ohio anymore. But Emma also looked really upset last night. Well,
Yeah.
Taze.
Yeah, I was gonna say the clip from the Scepters where they were all watching it together. Um, but it's always next year. I know
Montreal
it's
also
far
didn't
away.
clinch last night. They had to win, and
Yeah,
they didn't. So I'm sure Corey is thrilled.
we
Montreal's
love
been
all
having
these
a struggle the last
up
few
and down.
games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, back to NCAA. Michigan, I feel like everyone knows, great football school, great hockey school. Like
Yeah.
they've been doing the thing. Um, and they are missing the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh my, they're so bad. The record. I just, they were 13, 16, 7 that year.
Brianna,
Anyway, what?
my favorite hockey team in college hockey
Yeah, what's the
was
record?
six,
No. No. Say it
six,
backwards.
21,
It
and
better be
three.
six. Mackenzie. Not
I told
20.
you
That's
they
24
haven't
losses.
they
Come on.
haven't been good.
That is so sad. 6 wins? Oh, I feel terrible. Is that like that's so upsetting.
Okay, so the last time they had 2015,
So
2016 they had 19, 9, and 4.
okay, love it.
Um
And then after that,
and
they
then
just
yeah,
have not.
2016, 2017 was 13, 15, and 3.
Jeez. What's
Um
happening?
2017, 18 was 15, 15, and 1, which is
All right,
better.
500. Yeah. Oh, six. I thought I was like, can you just read it backwards? Like the 6 losses first. That's so bad. 6
6
wins.
wins.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
they've been at like 500 for the most part, and then post COVID it's 821 and 1 for 21, 22.
Jeez. What happened? Wait, did like people leave?
820 and 4.
No, it's
Well,
getting
okay,
worse.
yeah,
It's getting worse.
we did have one really notable player leave. Jack St. Ivany was a
Oh
Yale
yeah.
Bulldog for a while. He left, um and now he is on the Pittsburgh Penguins. um
Yay.
I like to note that when he left, I literally was like, I put a curse on you, like in my head. Because in my head, I was like,
Totally
why are you
normal.
leaving? And like, I know why they're leaving. And that's
Yeah.
also, no one wants to go because you won a championship in 2013 when you shouldn't have. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm the first to admit that Yale should not have won that championship back then, but
Love it. I
they
just feel like
really.
for Michigan, it's kind of odd because I feel like when we think Frozen Four, they're always kind of in the not that they win, but they're at least in it. So I feel like that's gonna be really weird watching it this year, and
Dude,
they're not there. What do
the
you mean?
the whole like tournament this year is kind of crazy because like there's no clear winner. Um
We love it. The
you
theme
have
is just
teams who have
overarching
never made it
every.
before. So
Yeah.
UConn and Bentley have never been in. They're dancing for the first time.
Yay!
Um
Congrats to all you friends. Look at you go.
and you have like Western Michigan, Michigan State, Quinnipiac, which also Quinnipiac and UConn are facing off in the first round. That I'm really annoyed about that.
Ooh,
Um, I'm gonna try to get my little butt over to Pennsylvania this weekend and see if I can
fun.
go. Even though I just said that I'm tired of driving. We'll see. Um, because I love Quinnipiac. I shouldn't. I know that they're like a Yale rival, but my cousin went
Mhm.
there. My cousins went there. Um,
I almost went there.
I
Fun fact. I
might be
did
going
not.
there.
I did not
um
go there, but I almost did.
yeah, they're a great school. Great people, and they have Rem Pecknold really has turned that program around, and like all due credit to him. But
Hmm.
this if you are disenchanted with the NHL right now and you want something to
College
watch for the
hockey.
next few weeks, men's college hockey is going to be a thriller because you have some great matchups. Penn State's in it, which is awesome, I think,
Hmm.
for the sport of hockey. Um, Penn State's obviously like a huge football school. And I think
Yeah,
that getting them into the Sweet 16, great,
good for them.
lovely, super
Yeah,
thrilled. Um, I think UConn, big basketball school being in it's great. It's gonna be interesting. And there
I'm
really
excited.
isn't a clear like
Winner.
winner because even
Or
like BCBU, it's like they have they have weak spots. Every team
yeah,
has
every
weak
time. Yeah.
spots, and it's gonna be a fun watch. I'm
I'll be
really
sad.
excited. So
We always keep track of it at work, usually because whoever's been drafted or potentially being drafted. And
yeah,
so I just love we just sit there and watch me like, oh god, this guy from this team, blah blah blah, whatever. Like last year was all about Celebrini when we were watching 5 million BC games because he was playing. No, did I miss? No, I think that's right. Yeah. Anyway, I'm excited.
when do we think Ethan Edwards signs an ELC?
He is reporting to Utica
I know,
apparently,
but
which
he
everybody was
hasn't
like,
signed
"Oh
yet.
my god!" I don't know. Usually now it's like that time of year where like a lot of that stuff starts happening,
Yeah, but so like
but usually non-playoff teams are quicker with it. I don't know. I also,
not necessarily because like okay, like the Rangers and Islanders have signed a few of their players already. The Rangers just
yeah,
made a transaction this morning. Um,
transaction. It sounds so formal when you say
that's
that. Like
what
that.
it
I know, but
is.
when you say it, it's just like I think of like a credit card. I know it's not that, but I'm like a transaction.
Kind of is. They're like, here's it's a
Literally,
transaction. They're
it
like,
is a
here, they're
business
signing a
transaction.
contract.
It's true.
Um, I just
I think it's by the end of the year.
hmm?
I think Ethan Edwards. Why
I
not?
wonder because like with the injuries the Devils have had and everything, like
Yeah.
they've brought up Casey. They have like they've trended younger in the last few games. Which by the way, I'm really thrilled with the addition of Cody Glass. I think that that's a really great
Yeah.
add to the Devils, which I think everyone kind of was like, it's not. Which also, by the way, we missed talking about like the actual trade. We can get into who we think won and who we think lost in a second. Um, now that we've seen them play a little bit, but I think Cody Glass was like a really great acquisition for
Hmm.
the Devils, even though no one thought it was really going to be that impactful.
Yeah.
Um, but like Ethan Edwards, I think is going to add a certain kind of style to the Devils that I think will be helpful.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see him and Seamus and Luke all play together
Together
again.
again. It's like getting back
Um,
together.
if we could get Fantilli over to the Devils, that'd be great.
Please. Oh my God. Could you
um,
imagine?
yeah, just bring
Just like
Rucker
bring
and Adam Fantilli just back
all of
back
them.
to the Devils again.
Sorry.
Um, but I think there's also something to be said for some of the kids that you think would sign and maybe should stay
Don't.
in college a year longer because
Yeah.
I
That's
just
again, they're
like
developing.
I feel really bad for Rucker because I feel like he should have stayed at Michigan. And I said it when he left. I texted my cousin and I was like, "Hey, I can you yell at him please because I think he
Can
should
you
stay
can you
in
nicely tell him?
college." Um, listen, I think Rucker McGroarty is a great hockey player.
No lie.
I just don't think there was a place for him on the Penguins this year, and I
Yeah.
don't think that's his fault. I think that it
No.
is on the management that they didn't I don't think they put him in a position to thrive this year in Pittsburgh because he's killing it
Yeah.
on the baby pens.
Yeah. I actually
So
look. You said that. I wanted to go to a game, and I don't think I'm gonna make it. But they're gonna go. They're almost in the playoffs, so maybe I just do that. Anyway.
yeah,
Um.
we are keeping up with the AHL clinching scenario. We're not keeping up with scenarios on the threads, but
Just
we
when
are
they.
posting when they clinch.
Do
And
it.
so far we have the Hershey Bears, the Milwaukee Admirals, and the Texas Stars. I
Yeah.
personally am
Stars.
thrilled about the Hershey Bears and the Milwaukee Admirals being in the playoffs. So I'm excited to watch some of
The
my
bear. Can we
friends
talk? The
play.
Bears literally are just like the Capitals saw the script and said, "I'm gonna take that, thank you," and they just did it
I think
again.
I'm trying to remember who said it on Morning Cup of Hockey, um, which is another hockey podcast that is a lot more traction than we do, obviously. um, they were talking about like the development and how like we always complain about the Rangers, but they were complaining about Boston, and I think they said that like no
Yeah,
one likes the development of their team,
which makes sense.
except for probably Washington because they do such a great job with
So
the
good.
Bears, and then like the way that they bring people up from the AHL and into the national is really great.
Yeah,
And I agree. I think that every team needs to watch how they do it and take it that way because there are a lot of issues with how people get brought up and
yeah.
sent down, and we could
But
talk
they
about it more,
won,
but
I think just more in the sense of like they're always the first to clinch and they've won two in a row and now it's like Caps are like, well,
have you
I can do that. Hold on a
Have you
sec.
ever been to the Bears Den at Hershey?
No,
Oh, okay. We should go
it's
either
on my
to
list.
well, I mean, we can go to the lounge pretty easily to watch a game if we want to, but we could also try to go to a game
Yeah,
for the Calder Cup playoffs. It shouldn't be that hard depending on our schedules. Um
yeah.
but like it's the Bears are a fun team to watch. I know that the AHL isn't like as accessible to watch.
Not at home. No, not at home.
Which I
It's
have
like
a
easier to go to in person,
yeah, but like
but not to watch like at home,
yeah, I have a
like
bone
me.
to pick with that. But the
Yeah.
Bears are fun to watch. The Admirals I'm really excited for. And I also like this is where I get annoyed because the Admirals are doing so well every season and Nashville just can't seem to get it right.
Yeah, especially
Um
this year.
yeah, and like okay, but like Coachella is also great every season. And I do find it interesting they're not having as great of a season this year
Yeah.
now that Coach
I
Campbell
say, is
is
this the
not there.
Jessica Campbell effect
Yeah. Um God, I would have loved to. If we're talking about like storylines, I think that I would have loved to have seen
for
Seattle
Seattle?
crack the
I
playoffs
know.
this year. But
Next year.
I also still want the
Well,
Blue Jackets and the Flames to make the
yeah.
playoffs. So
We're just gonna be sitting over here stressed, be like, please, 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 like,
I think
just get in.
I think once like December rolled around, I kind of went, okay, the Rangers aren't making it anymore. So um
Next up.
I kind of like was like, what are the good stories here? And I feel
Yeah.
like those three teams making it would have been great stories, and it's not gonna happen, but it's fine.
It's not completely out of the picture yet.
For the Blue Jackets and Calgary, yeah.
Yeah. So,
But
you never
also
know.
with Monahan being back, that'll help the Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
Um, we'll see. They play the Islanders tonight, so that if you want a playoff game to watch tonight,
That one should be good, yeah. I
that
know
should
like
be fun.
you wouldn't think of it looking at the teams on like
No.
when you say it, but it'll be good. And I'm sure it'll be good.
I if you had told me that
A
if you
year
had told me
ago?
this time last year that I would have been like upset that I'm missing
Yeah.
watching
We've
a
been like,
CBJ
what?
Isles game, I'd be like, excuse me.
What is wrong with you? That's how I feel about um at work when we always complain about like the latest games. We have to wait for those West Coast games to get over. And every time we have like a quote unquote bad one where it's a bad matchup, it used to be like Sharks against anyone. And now I'm like, no, I will watch the Sharks game. I'll sit there and watch that. That's exciting. Like, but last year if you told me that I'd be looking forward to it, I'd be like, what do you mean?
Which,
It's
by the
so
way,
bad.
speaking of college hockey in Quinnipiac and kids that kind of go under the radar when they get pulled up,
Yeah.
Colin
Yeah.
Graff, man.
He's
I
still
was
there.
so excited watching him in the regular season and playoffs last year for Quinnipiac. And then when he got pulled up this year, I literally was like,
It was crazy. I love it for them.
um, because like, okay, I watch college hockey a lot. And so like I feel like I know these kids because I've been watching them play for
Watching for so long.
so long. And then when they finally get to
You're
the
like,
show, I'm like,
oh my
oh,
God. Yeah.
if we're moving on to the trade deadline, because I know that like you had thoughts. We tried to get it together where we could have
But I
had an
had felt
episode.
I was like, did I have thoughts?
I thought you did.
Very, I feel like unofficial,
We
but
tried for about 10 seconds to be like, can we schedule a time
literally 10
where we
seconds.
can call? And it just, I think you were like 15 hours ahead at that point.
Yeah.
It just wasn't gonna
We could
happen.
have, but there's no
Um,
way.
and like I didn't want to do a solo episode because
You
I
want to hear
already talk
yourself
too
by
much.
yourself? I was gonna say. It's like just you on loop in my, it's like what you hear in your head.
Yeah, and
That's
I don't like it. I don't need to subject anyone
never
else to
mind.
that. So the trade deadline
Thoughts?
was two, three
Yeah,
weeks
2
ago
weeks
at this
ago.
point. Two,
It'll be
two and a
3
half.
weeks on Friday.
Okay.
So
So
almost 3 weeks.
how
It's
are we
actually crazy.
how are we feeling post deadline? Like who, because I know that there was like an immediate thought of like who won and who lost and who got fleeced and whatever, but like
Yeah,
now
because
that we're
before you
actually
actually
seeing it
see them,
play out, like again, like Cody Glass, great acquisition for the
good
Devils.
one. I'm trying to think. I was whatever plan they have in place in Boston. I don't know what plan it might be, but it doesn't seem like a good one because I kept getting those notifications and I was like, "What? What are we doing?" I know they got some like decent and good players back, but like
I
overall, what like what happened? Why did that? That was the most shocking one to me
I
about everybody who
texted
left.
my
Like it's
cousin
crazy.
and I went, I'm so sorry. It was like right after the Martian trade got
Yeah.
announced, and I went, I'm so sorry. And he just texted back darkness.
No thoughts.
And
No, literally.
I
It's just
responded and I was like, listen, I'm sorry because your team basically just went, we don't care anymore. Like
yeah.
there's buyers, there's sellers, and then there's what the Boston Bruins did. And they basically were like, we don't see this team winning for the next
A long time.
2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
Um, so
Which
just
like
sell the whole team.
I
Like,
it's still to
where
this
is
day.
everybody?
I was just like, why do I have 5,000 notifications about everybody leaving the Bruins? Like what's happening? Who did you have? Like at this rate it's just like Pasta and Swayman to me. That is that is the entire team. So I'm like
McAvoy.
who's Oh yeah, yeah, but he's out right now.
Oh, yes, but
But yes, he's still there. But like
he's probably going to be named
w-
captain. So I don't want to like
that true.
dismiss him.
Yeah, sorry Charlie. I know you're injured. I forgot. But yes, I just could not believe. I was like, what, did you just like look at the roster and was like, take a pick, whoever you
I
want.
just, how do
I'll
you
take
go?
whoever.
How do you go from record setting season?
Yep, two
I'm like, did
seasons
the
ago.
Panthers really just play that much of a mind game on these, because
Ooh, good question.
you went from record setting season, so great.
Literally.
Like, thought they were going to break the President's Cup curse.
Yeah.
An abysmal showing against Florida. They just beat the pants
Yeah.
off of them. And then you come back next year and you went, all right, let's do it. The Bruins had a pretty good season. And then,
Yeah. This.
but so you go from like this great season
Like top of the top to low of the
to
lows.
no, but like they had a middle season. Like the
Yeah.
last season was pretty good, but again, they got
Eliminated.
beat
Yep.
by the Panthers again. And then they come back this season and you think that they're going to do well. They made some, like they had a good roster at the start of the season and
Yeah.
it, oof,
It has not been. It has not been good. And I feel like
no.
after that, I was like, what? I also think like I understand like it's a business and if you're rebuilding whatever, but like if that was my favorite team, I would have been like, I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna come back in a little like I could not.
I think they only have
It's
five
so
players left from the
that sounds right.
2022 2023 season where they were breaking records, which
Yeah.
it like if you're looking at it from like how how did you
No,
lose
literally how?
everybody? Where did
It's
they go?
well, now they're all over the place.
I know.
Or they retired.
I just
But
oof.
it's wild.
I'd
Like
be
that to
so
me
mad.
the also like you literally said like the whole mind game thing about Florida and like giving Marchand to Florida for basically nothing. Like what again, what is the
I
plan? What's the idea here? What are we doing?
There has to be something going on in that front office that like I
Yeah.
beg of it to make more sense because
As what was it, a second rounder or something?
mhm,
Yeah.
you
That's
traded your
insane.
captain who's been with your team for 16
16
years
years, yeah. His
for
entire
a
career.
second round.
And that's it. It was just a second round pick.
I'm surprised TD Garden
Like
is still standing.
no, literally, because I like,
Like,
and then you're
what?
all like talking about, oh, the Panthers keep beating us, and like you literally trade him to said team. So what? I just wild. I don't know if that makes him a loser of the trade deadline, but like, and I guess based on how they've been playing since then, yeah. But I think it'll be interesting when they whatever they do in the off season, and when we come back next year. I can't see them like I feel like the Bruins are always one of those teams you always kind of know are in the playoff picture, and them not being in it this year is kind of weird to me because they're always up there.
Pasternak is dragging. Like, I
I
saw a
feel so
screenshot
bad
the
for
other day
Pasta.
where it was like the top like five teams
Yeah.
out of a playoff spot, and like people who could still make it because like the East is listen, the Bruins could still make it. It's
Yes.
possible.
Anything can
Um,
happen. What is that Ellie Goulding song? Anything can, you know. This is playing in my head.
but like Pasta is dragging that team. Like Sam Rosen said it about the Rangers. He's like, listen, I'm trying to
Yeah.
drag them into the playoffs with me.
That.
And I feel so bad for Sam because that man deserves to
Yeah.
go out better than this. But like I just those are the Rangers and the Bruins, that those fall offs need to be studied
No,
because
literally. Yes.
you would
Like,
like,
what
oh my
happened?
God.
Yeah. I just and that makes me wonder like if they're that bad, kind of like what we said about like Chicago, like if your team is that bad, do you, as like if you're Pasta, do you want to stay there and wait out that rebuild?
No.
Like I wouldn't. So like then you have to trade him, and then you know what I mean? Like like I feel like it's just gonna continue falling off, and I feel so bad because like the Bruin, I don't know, it's just I feel like it didn't have to happen that way, and they were just traded everyone for whatever reason. Okay. Like, um,
What are your opinions on what Carolina did? Because
I
I
was
know
gonna
that
say I would make them a winner.
really,
Not for the whole Miko. Well, listen, I said this once on the last time when he went to Carolina, and now Miko Ranson is in Dallas, which I hate it. Anyway, good for the Stars, but I hate that as an Avs fan. I think who they got back, Stankoven and who was the other one from the Preds? He just scored last night. Jankowski, I think.
sure, my brain's fried.
I want to say. They've been so good. So I think that part of it was good for them. I don't know if that's I still don't think that's enough for them to be like a scary cup contender, but I guess they did what they had to. Like I don't know if anything came out about why Miko didn't sign there or whatever, but um yeah, I don't know. Good for them. Seems to be working out. Like they got two players that like Stankoven's good.
I'm wondering though, because like there are a lot of people have left Carolina.
Yeah,
I do think that losing Natchez is gonna
is
come back to haunt them.
I agree.
Um,
Imagine if I again it's very I don't know if it's like is this possible, but if you get a Carolina Colorado final,
it's possible. It's
it
not
is
gonna
possible.
happen, but it's
But I feel
possible.
like I'm like the karma of it if like Nature scores that
Game
the
winner
game
in the
winner
cup
and like the
final.
cup winner, yeah, like that's like Carolina would be like if that was me, I'd be like, well,
That's
I'm
called
done.
poetry.
I'm
Or
done.
like that's karma actually. But no, I
No,
just like
literally.
the things that have come out about Carolina and like the front office stuff. The like, I
Yeah,
don't think
how
there's
they
an issue
handled
with
it.
Rod Brindamore like at all. I think that he's a great coach and can do anything wherever he is.
Yeah,
Um, but I think that some stuff that's come out about like even he said stuff about the front office that like was a little cheeky and
sketchy.
like does anyone want to play in Colorado? Not Colorado, Carolina? Like
Carolina.
I don't know. I think yes. I think that like Jarvis obviously wants to be
Yeah,
there, and uh, but like at what point are we looking at it and going,
there's no
you got rid of
actual.
one of your best players who was
Yeah.
integral to your team for
Hmm.
someone who came, did nothing, and then
You
left?
left. Yeah.
Because like obviously we don't know the exact numbers because we know like what's rumored that came out, but
Yeah.
apparently Carolina offered way more money than Dallas did for the same length, and Miko Rantanen was like, "No, I'm not doing it."
Yeah. So there has
Um,
to be like something going on,
yeah, that one's
but
a weird one to me.
it is weird.
I do question whether or not Miko should have just stayed and become a
Unless
free
I
agent,
know,
and it's a whole thing.
I also read a thing that said he met with the Avs for again, Avs front office. I have so many bones to probably pick with you, but he met with them a couple days before and was like, the negotiations weren't going anywhere, and he was like, I want to stay here, whatever, and like 3 days later they traded him, and I was like, okay, I don't know why we would have done that, but sure, I don't know.
But also, he
I
hasn't been performing well since he's been traded, and
Since
I
he
can't
left,
tell if
yeah.
it's like,
He started well with Dallas, but like now it's kind of pittered out.
really in comparison to like Natcez's
Yeah.
performance, like
I also think though,
interesting.
like you could put anybody with Nate. Like same thing we said about Crosby. You could probably put anybody with Nate, and they
Yeah.
somehow become second best player ever on the team or whatever it is. So I don't know. And although Miko didn't hasn't played with Nate on a line for a while, but there's got to be some element of that too. Like you're coming into a core that's being run differently. You have different players around you.
Yeah.
And I feel like Nate just kind of just gelled, and Miko's kind of just like, okay, what do I do? How does it work? I don't know. That whole thing still seems insane to me. Like that happened, but
Yeah.
whatever. It's okay. Not really. We'll see how that plays out in the playoffs though, because if Carolina loses early on, do you attest that to Natchez not being there or just them not being strong enough again? Because like they couldn't do it with Natchez on the team.
I will say I think this is the year where Carolina can finally get to a conference final.
Ooh, okay.
And
Yeah,
not
because the East is again, eh. But yeah,
if we're going just off like regular season performance, you're gonna
it.
end up with like Washington, Carolina in the
Oh God.
um second round,
Yeah,
which like by all accounts, Carolina should win that one when
they
you look
made
at like
one.
overall gameplay.
Oh yeah, they made the conference finals 22-23.
Yeah, no, it's not that they haven't
Yeah,
made them.
I
It just
remember.
they're not
It just
consistent with it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's usually a second round
yeah.
exit, but very true.
Like
We'll see how it goes.
it's like a death taxes and a Toronto first round exit, but also like a Carolina second round exit is
No,
kind of how it
literally,
feels. Um, that's like my new favorite thing on
death
social
taxes.
media. I've
I
been
love
seeing
those.
it's like death taxes and an empty net goal or something. And I'm like,
Yep,
yeah, that's accurate.
that's real.
Um, but no, I Carolina has some like PR work to do, I think, as far as
Mm.
getting players to go. Because also if you're a college kid, looking at do you pull a Rucker McGroarty in that case and then like to bring it back to him and be like, I don't want to play for this organization.
There
Also,
was just one I saw an article in the other day that I don't know who it is. I'm so sorry, but he is done playing in college, and I guess his rights, like Carolina has his rights, but he isn't signing with them
yeah.
post
I don't remember his
college
name, but I
career.
saw that.
I saw, yeah. So I'm like, that's a little interesting because usually when you're done playing, the automatic jump would be to go to the NHL. But if you don't want to play for that team,
Well, I think like sorry, people with McGroarty were like, well, he should have like that's karma that he got sent down to the baby pens.
ah,
Um,
that's
with all
rude.
due respect, he would not have been in the show
No,
if he went to Winnipeg at all.
that would have been 10 times worse. Like you would
And
have had
he
to wait
never
for so long.
he wouldn't have gotten up for years.
Yeah,
Um, at least with the Penguins, he can probably get up next year and like
yeah.
stay
I
and
would say
become
probably
like a
next year.
fixture.
Yeah.
Um, No, I just it
That's oh my God.
like if you're a
It's
college
wild.
kid, are you looking at it and going, "Yeah, I want to stay here," or do you pull something like a I don't think that the what happened with Cutter Gauthier and
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the
Roberti
only
are
one
on the
I
same level.
no.
Um, as far
But
as
it
like things that were said and like what happened, but
but
like
it
do you
shows like
pull one of
yeah,
those
if
and
you
go,
don't
I
want
don't
to
want to
play
play
for your
here?
own if you don't want to play that for that team, you can and it has worked out where you say I don't want to go there and then,
Yeah.
you end up somewhere and you end up playing well and, establishing your spot, but
Is Cutter Gauthier playing well, or did he
he's
make a big mess of things? And
listen.
well,
I feel like in
he's one
Philly
of
it would
those
have been a time.
he's one of those players where he like fell off a little bit
Yeah.
from where you like thought he was going to be. So,
Yes. But if
I
he's happy
mean,
in Anaheim, have fun.
yeah. I
It
mean,
matters.
listen, there's no
I don't know how, yeah, I don't know, but
I think there's a lot to be said for how you leave the trade deadline and like how your team comes out of it looking. Um,
yeah.
whether people have issues with your management or, from like a we talked about this earlier this season, like with the Rangers, and how you know they make business decisions that maybe don't come across well to players, and especially if those players have families. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't feel like you have job security and stability, like, do you really want to go?
Yeah, is it
Like,
like
yeah,
that's why I kind of wonder when we always talk about like no trade clauses and the modified ones, like how players like put the teams on it that they don't want to go to. Because I feel like that also plays a role in it. Like I know Winnipeg's probably on a lot of people, but like that's because nobody wants to live in Winnipeg because it's freezing cold and windy.
yeah.
But like I feel like there's the same thing about I don't want to go to that team because X happened and I didn't like that, whatever. So I don't know.
It could also just be
It
like
is
a
important.
coaching issue, but I think it's so
Yeah.
funny because could you imagine like you put a team on your NTC because you hate the coach and then you end up
The
getting coached
coach
by
go
that
yeah.
team.
That's not like a sure thing. I feel like that can change. So I wouldn't
No, but I mean, if you really hate a guy,
yeah. I mean
um,
it's possible.
yeah, you could.
You could be that petty, I guess.
Like, not that anyone hates David Carl, but like, could you imagine like you do hate him? Um, no, yeah, okay. So he's not coaching World Juniors, and everyone was kind of speculating if that's because he's gonna go up to the NHL. Um, I don't know. But like if you really, really again, no one does, which is why I'm saying it. But if you hate Carl,
He's like, I don't want to go to that team.
yeah, and like let's say
His
like he
team.
coaches in Boston and then you put Boston on your NTC and you're like, I hate that man. And then he gets like not traded, but like
Does that mean moved? Like you like
moved.
gets to another team, you're like, ah, now I gotta take Boston off and put this team on it.
No, but like imagine he
Who
gets moved to
knows?
your team. Like
Oh,
if you're
that's
like
that'd be the funniest, like, yeah. Who knows? I love it.
I just think it's funny.
Fun times.
So yeah, NCAA tournaments in full swing for the men. The women's Wisconsin killed it. It was a really
So
great
good.
game. If you are
So good.
bored and want to go back and watch it, it was a good one. Uh, NHL season's wrapping up. We got like 10 to 13 games left for each team, which is
I
horribly
hate
upsetting.
that.
But then we
What am
get
I
playoff
I
hockey, which will be
ugh,
really fun. The
yeah, I
PWHL is
know.
winding down too. We have an international break, but each team has like 6 games
5 or
left.
6, yeah.
Uh, so we'll see some playoff clinching scenarios there soon. Then we'll have their playoffs. We're getting into it with this
That
big
makes me
part of the
so
season,
upset.
and then we'll be done so soon.
Like I
Um,
have now it's like good that F1 exists in summer because I have
yeah.
like a thing to focus on in the summer, but I'm like, no, the
Well, they
hockey.
they did
Like, where
announce
does it go?
that the regular season will be starting on October 7th this year.
I
Uh,
figured.
and
Olympics.
also they're um they are looking at changing the All-Star game,
I know, I saw that. I went to text you about
which
it because I was like, they don't want to do an All-Star game, but they want to do. They were like, we promised them an event. I was like, kind of did. You did schedule it. Like, so
we
we'll
also
see how
learned at
that
the
goes.
we also learned at the GM meeting that Bettman apparently is not a fan of the decentralized draft. Um, so I'm not
Who
really sure
is?
why we started it.
Because
But
I think a lot of the team GMs were like, I don't want to go,
I don't
but I'm like,
either.
why?
It's
Why
your
don't you
job.
want to
This is
go? It
literally
says
what
like
you get paid for. So
that's
just
literally
suck it up
probably
and
the
go.
only time you have to actually like travel somewhere to be there. Like
I
that's
know.
not a lot. I
But
just
yeah,
also like again, I think we've mentioned it like when we were in COVID, like the 2020 and the 21 draft when everybody was like at home. It's cool, but like it doesn't have the same effect of you being drafted and like going up to the stage and getting your jersey. Like there's not
I
I
think there's
think
pros
that's
and cons
so
to both because I feel like being able to be like with your whole family and like all
yeah,
of your friends getting drafted has to be super cool.
I agree.
Um,
But I feel like the element of
but
what
yeah,
we know it as kind of like I don't know.
like you can
I don't think
celebrate
takes
with your
away from the
family
effect.
later.
Yeah.
I think
Sorry
is
guys.
like I don't know. It's just
I
it's
agree.
but we're getting to the end of the hockey season. And
Oh
like
my
hockey is the
God.
longest season, so it ends the end of June and it's gonna start up again in September. But
Mm-hmm.
we only have like 2 months off of
I
hockey,
say not me
really.
acting like the 2 months is like the end of the world.
I know
It's only 2 months.
I
Like
do
imagine being a
every
football
year,
fan. Like football's February. When do they start football again? July, like
August.
August. That's a long. That's like 6 months.
No, yeah, football's the shortest. Um, but like we
But
have
I'm like 2 months. Oh my God. Like, we'll
I'm
be
just
okay.
I'm just currently really like annoyed because Mets tickets are so expensive.
Really? I was gonna
Yeah.
say baseball too. You like
I
baseball in the
looked at
summer?
I looked at the Mets home opener and it's
So one the
$112.
who are they playing?
I don't know, but it's because Juan Soto's on the
I
team.
was gonna say that has to be it, but
They
oh
have to
my
pay his
God.
contract.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna look it up now.
They're not playing anyone notable, I don't think.
That is actually insane. They're wait. They're playing the Tigers? Nope.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
$112. That's like Subway
Oh wait.
Series prices.
This is last year's schedule. I don't
Dude,
know what year we're in.
Subway Series is gonna be lit
I
this
know it's gonna be
year.
so good.
If you don't know, Subway Series is when the Mets and the Yankees play. Um, and it's like a very big event, but because of Juan Soto moving from one team to another, I'm sure it'll be hectic this season.
It's against the Blue Jays
Jesus Christ.
on Friday.
No, no, the Mets don't come home for a minute.
No, it's next Friday, the 4th.
The Mets and the Yankees are playing today.
Mm-hmm. That's spring training.
No, I know, but
Like, but yes. Little mini Subway series. There you go. It
yeah,
actually makes me so mad that it's that expensive. I want my $10 tickets back.
right.
That's so rude.
But then on their
Get
like
out
on
of
their
here.
website, they're advertising like $12
That's
tickets.
what I saw an ad, I
And
think on
I'm like,
Instagram.
you are liars.
It's probably like the last one ever like against what's like a really bad baseball team. Like the worst
The
team.
White Sox. It's gonna
Yeah,
be
all the
like
way in the top, last row of the stadium. It's probably what it is.
I
I
hate
don't
it. I hate
care.
it.
If
I
that's what it
hate
is, I
it.
guess I'll be there.
I want my like 10 $10 baseball tickets back to
And
be
Shirley
able to go
Temple.
to City Field and just have a drink and a hot
Yeah.
dog and
So good.
need to
So
stop sitting in this seat um to record this
good.
podcast.
Okay. Oh
Um
my goodness.
all right, well, everyone welcome Bree back to the United States,
I'm here. I'm
even
back.
though none of us want to be here anymore.
True.
Um if you haven't already, give us a follow wherever you're listening to us. Give us a follow on socials. It's tagged. Also, if you could like rate, review, comment, that'd be
Press the little
great.
stars.
Yeah, touch the little stars, give us a 5-star review. If you
Yeah.
don't like us, don't review us.
Yeah. Simple
But
as
also
that,
if you don't
please.
like us, why are you still listening? Because this was a long episode.
Yeah.
So that was a rambly one, but we haven't talked
We have to
about
catch up.
on my I mean, we've spoken a lot actually.
Yeah. Not like on this, but same
Yeah.
thing.
So I'm gonna go edit this and get it up as soon as possible before I have to go drive to
Yay.
work. And I will see you
See you later
at the Devils game later.
in like
And
5 hours.
to everyone listening, go watch some hockey and let us know your
Thanks for
opinions.
listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to think if there's anything else important for me to say. I feel like there
No.
was, and I'm
See you
forgetting
next
what it
week.
was. Yeah, I'll see you next
I don't
week.
know. If we remember, I don't even know.
put it in post. I don't have the energy for
Yeah.
that today. I'm just gonna go edit
No.
this. It's gonna be
It's
a
okay.
rough edit too, because I gotta go to work.
It'll be
So
good.
it's gonna be
Yay.
great. We'll
See you
see you all
later.
later. All right.
Bye.
Bye.